Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the American Business Podcast for the Next Generation. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host, and today I'm with Philip Mortell from EKC Strategic Business Alliance. Phil, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Excited to be here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's a great day for a Friday. It's sunny. It's nice. So let's have our conversation together, and let's learn from you because our motto is knowledge is power, and let's learn from experts. So that's a great podcast in that sense. So we are excited to have you. Thank you very much. So as for introductions to our audience and to our listeners, would you please introduce yourself and your company?
Absolutely. Yes. Happy Friday, and the weather is getting much better. Golf is on the horizon. So I'm Philip Mortell. I am the founder, co-founder, and business consultant here at EKC Strategic Business Alliance. And so how do I get into this? Where do I start? It was
How
I
did
came
you
into, I
start?
came
How
into
is the
this
story?
world
Yes.
on a warm Sunday in August. No, I'm kidding. I want to start with where I was. I went to Westchester University outside of Philadelphia, and that's where I studied finance. I studied accounting. I was a big numbers guy, and I've always been a big numbers guy. And then once I graduated was 2008, not a great time to graduate, especially in the finance world. And it was hard to get things going with the uncertainty of the market. So I kind of dipped back into other jobs, bartending, caddying, and things like that around the Philadelphia area. And over time, I knew I wanted to get back into the business world. So I took up a job in manufacturing. Technically, I worked sales for a distributor for a bunch of different manufacturers in the process industry, and that's kind of where my love for manufacturing started. And I think that we'll get into more of the topic today would be manufacturing related. So that was kind of where my love started.
Mhm.
And I didn't know anything about engineering. I didn't go to school for engineering. I didn't know how certain things worked in the process industry. And as I started to learn and be involved in more of the day to day and sort of the process in the back, the backstage of some of these manufacturers, it was very,
Mhm.
very interesting. And manufacturing is a heartbeat of America, and I think that getting to see that firsthand was really kind of hit home for me. And I was there for a couple of years in sales, and I knew I left that, but I knew I wanted to kind of get back into it some way or another. I got into finance when I was in college because I wanted to help individuals with their retirement or with their investments, or 401k, college planning, things like that. I wanted to see the happiness on their faces from from being able to do that. And I've kind of shifted that towards the business aspect, especially when it comes to manufacturing. So it was about 4 or 5 years ago now. Started a business with my business partner Ellis Chandler. He's on the individual planning side, so he handles investment management, college planning, 401k, kind of like what I wanted to get into. But we started kind of building the business side of our firm, and that's what it's grown into today as far as EKC Strategic Business Alliance is concerned. I've started to taken over that side of the business. I started to build out our partnerships, including with yours truly, with Kevin and American Workflows, and now we have the ability to offer cost reduction services to small to mid-size manufacturing, and it's been a blessing. And I think that we're continuously expanding, but and getting involved in some great projects, as we'll probably get into. But it's very it hits home with me because now, instead of doing that in the finance world, I'm actually doing it in the manufacturing world. I'm providing these cost reduction services, I'm making these businesses go, making them more efficient, and focusing on areas where we can really make a difference.
Absolutely. I mean, especially American manufacturing is the heart of the economy. I truly believe that, and I definitely share your passion in that sense. I was also checking the National Manufacturing Association's latest statistics actually a couple days ago. The contribution of American manufacturers to the economy is tremendous, and it's important. And definitely, I'm happy to have you in the podcast, and we can discuss U.S. manufacturing and how we are actually supporting their efforts to be more competitive in
Mhm.
global stage. Great. So, well, can you also share us in terms of how did you decide to choose your career to decide, working with manufacturers, for example, and other career choices that you made?
Going back to when I was working sales for that specific distributor, I don't think I don't think this career. I kind of chose this career. I think the career chose me in a sense. I was put into that position with not much knowledge at all of manufacturing or how it worked or the engineering side of things. And as I continued to grow in that space and my knowledge continued to grow in that space, that's where it kind of ended up. That's why I ended up here today. So when we built the company from where it was okay. We're going to provide a specific um, service right away, and it was mainly focused on tax benefits. And R&D, which is a great tax benefit, especially for manufacturers, and as well as a few others. But I knew that offering you know just that broad service of tax benefits was not what's going to make it in this in this industry. So I slowly built out our relationships, and now we offer a bunch of different services that focus on cost reduction within the manufacturing industry. So some of those services include are energy focused, both procurement and energy bill audits. We do offer, like I mentioned, R&D tax benefits. We focus on equipment management platforms such as the one that you provide, and insurance as well as telecom. So anything that can really make a huge difference in the bottom line for some of these manufacturers, especially some of the small ones who tend to struggle at times.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the sharing the knowledge with manufacturers about available resources, as well as how they can be cutting their operational cost in manufacturing is a great service, and that's much needed. Absolutely, absolutely. So this is a great session in that sense to learn from you. So well. I'm glad that you share your passion about manufacturing and how actually you chose your career. Can you also share the most challenging and exciting parts of your career with our audience?
Well, like in any sales situation, the hardest the hardest part of the job is trying to make the sale. But I think, as one of your previous guest put it, it's you're not trying to you're not trying to prioritize making the sale. You're trying to prioritize the problems that the manufacturers are facing, right? And that's key. You want to learn what's going on, what costs they're battling, and which areas that you are able to help them. I think that manufacturing, they're focused on efficiency and cutting costs. So if you can be that solution for them, it's a huge deal, and that's given us the ability to grow.
Yes, it actually resembles kind of doctor-patient relationship, right? So you need to listen their challenges, issues, and then you like to come up with the solution that can address their challenges. So that is, I think, very exciting in that sense also. So well, same with manufacturing, also same in business world in general. So the hot topic nowadays is AI, right? So AI already in our business world, in our lives, we start using it in some form, and it's just gonna basically keep evolving. That's how it looks like it. So moving forward, what is your take in terms of AI, how it'll be changing our lives and business world as well as
Mhm.
manufacturing? I like to really get your
Yeah.
take in that sense.
AI has obviously been the boom lately, and we use it every day. I use it as soon as I wake up. turn over. So, hey Alexa, what's the weather going to be like today? So I know how to dress going outside. I it's for use. It seems like it's more worldwide use, right, or everyday use, right, and in all these processes that we're trying to do. Hey Alexa, what's gonna how do I do this? How do I do this? Hey ChatGPT, how do I do this? What's going on? And that's key for manufacturing. I think moving forward, manufacturing, like I mentioned, more efficiency, cutting costs. Hey, how do we do that? How do we implement these systems to provide for better processes? And that's, I think AI is key to moving forward, especially in this certain, I guess, area of turnover, right? We have this, everybody thinks manufacturing, they think of, okay, yeah, getting your hands dirty and putting something together, making something, creating something. And they think of like, oh yeah, the seasoned 30 guy who's been there for 30, 40 years, knows everything about every piece of equipment, right? And you kind of
Yes.
get to that point now where some of the younger generation, they're not going to technically have that skill, right? You're going to have, those old guys, they're going to retire, and the old men and women, they're going to retire that know these equipments like the back of their hand. They can, like we mentioned, like I think we were on a meeting the other day, and you walk by the equipment and you're going to know, hey, that's something's off with that, right? Something's off. But nowadays, people are not going to know that, especially if they don't have the experience. So now we can kind of draw in some AI driven equipment to understand that equipment better and make sure there's not any kind of issues or problems with it moving forward. I think that's a big big kind of process for what is happening now with AI, with manufacturing, and just making it more efficient.
Yes, absolutely. That's really exciting. Do you think AI will replace some of the positions in the future?
I mean, yes and no. I think there's certain positions that are kind of irreplaceable, even if it is AI. When it comes to manufacturing, but in with the way the world is evolving, I would say that AI might be able to take over in somewhere down the line, 20, 30, 40 years down the line. I can certainly see that. I hope that's not the case, because I still feel like a human touch on some of these processes, especially when it comes to equipment, is key. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think that AI will have a big play in manufacturing somewhere down the line, just not anytime soon.
Yeah, that's definitely a fascinating conversation that we can really talk about it for day and night. That is for sure, and that is actually a common question. That's a big question in that sense, like whether AI will replace certain positions, how it will be. It looks like it's still up to humans in a way, how much we like to use AI, how further. So that remains to be seen. But that's a big question mark, and AI just keeps getting better, and that's the case. So as humans, we need to decide how much, how further we like to use AI moving forward. That's how it looks like it. But we'll definitely see that. Definitely, remains to be seen. Well, let's talk about predictions. So one of the actually insights that we get from our guests is predictions, right? So what is your prediction for the job market 2025 and beyond, as well as economy? So you just mentioned a couple of important points about manufacturing, about the talent acquisition and retention, right? So finding new talent, just like you mentioned, the previous generation, which they have a lot of experience. They are veterans of manufacturing, if you ask me, and they are retiring, and they have that know-how, and they need to transfer it to the next generation, manufacturing professionals, and that's a challenge, filling those positions. And also keeping the talent working in the company. We like to motivate them, keep them in the manufacturing, and so on. Having said that and keeping it in mind, what is your prediction for 2025 and beyond for the economy as well as job market?
Well, I think that even though even though AI is obviously slowly being implemented in certain situations, I think where certain employees can say, "Hey, write me a code for this or write me a code for that," kind of thing. I think that AI is going to have a big play in manufacturing just down the road. So, but as far as right now, as far as 2025 is concerned, yeah, okay, we're slowly in a decline with the market right now. That's fine. It's probably going to gear back up is my outlook and my hope for the rest of the year. I think that the job market, there's going to be hopefully some more manufacturing jobs coming back into the United States as promised. So hopefully that'll kind of gear up then that'll slowly kind of trickle down, right? The more manufacturing jobs needed. Now there's more manufacturing jobs needed. Now there's a play for, okay, well, we're going to need more manufacturing, classes and things like that in colleges. We're going to need more trade and engineering type classes in high schools and things like that. I remember when I grew up, or when I was in high school a long time ago, we had those classes. We had those CAD classes. We had the engineering classes, electric classes, masonry, woodwork, all that kind of stuff. I feel like nowadays those classes are not so much offered anymore, not so much interested, not drawing as much interest as they should kind of moving forward. So I think that there'll be more of a need for that. And hopefully, some of the younger generation will get off their phones and start, using their hands to create, masterpieces. So that's my hope for the job market, at least moving forward, that there'll be plenty for these students and things like that to be involved with.
How about economy? What
I
is your
think
take?
I think the economy continues to grow. I think as obviously we're fresh off a new presidency, so I'm not going to talk politics on a podcast at all. But I think that it looks promising from the start. Even though like I mentioned, the economy is taking a little bit of a dip right now. Great buying opportunity, So hopefully that keeps up the rest of the year, and then hopefully the rest of the term as well. And we can see kind of a boom in the economy and the spending and all that. So
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. We need to watch closely what is happening, and then hopefully it'll reflect positively on manufacturing, especially. So then we'll see. Well, you actually mentioned earlier that the importance of schools and how they actually train and educate the next generation about manufacturing, right? Vocational schools as well as colleges and universities. So having said that, what do you think about internships and apprenticeship programs? The importance of them for manufacturing especially, and business in general, and how do you see it overall?
I think I would not like to see them go away. I think they're a great stepping stone for for students or for anybody who's trying to get into the manufacturing industry, right? I can kind of play this in a way because I'm a big NFL guy, okay? And I kind of relate this to rookie quarterbacks coming into the league, all right? And rookie quarterback coming into the league,
Yeah, I love the analogy. Yes,
rookie quarterback
that's
coming
great.
into the league and getting thrown right into the fire has a low success rate, right? We've seen that. Some successes, yes, but a low success rate. I feel like it's the same way with manufacturing or any kind of internship, apprenticeship. To bring out the success that the potential that they would have, I feel like an internship or apprenticeship is key to learning things or learning something and learning how it works before actually getting your hands dirty.
Yes, I love your analogy with the NFL, and that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. And previously, we had other guests. They dive deeper into the importance of internship. Our next podcast also will dive deeper into the apprenticeship programs for manufacturing. So I'm also very excited about it. But definitely, it's very helpful for the next generation. One of our missions with this podcast is to share the wisdom and insights with the next generation. So it's important that we discuss these, and definitely we learn from it. That's definitely definitely educational for all of us. Also, speaking of next generation, what is your suggestion? What do you recommend them to do for them to decide for their career and further it? Because when we look at the next generation, they have different options in front of them. Also, in early age, in young age, they need to make serious decisions for their lives, so and careers as well. So any insights, any wisdom that you can share with the next generation for them to pick the right career for them as well as further in their career.
I'm
career
not going to tell them what career they should choose, but I will give them some insight. I think that creating partnerships and relationships is key for anything you're going to get into. It's not always what you're providing, but it's how can you link certain people up and make that even better, right? I think that relationship, and I have a ton of relationships, and I think I owe all of my success to my relationships, especially partnerships and things like that. And I think that just getting yourself immersed into those sort of things and listening and getting ideas and certain wisdom from other people is how you want to go about your career and the path that you want to choose. I think that creating relationships is a huge key to success.
Yes, absolutely. Previous also, we discussed about the importance of networking, professional networking. Would you like to share any insights about networking? With the
I go to as many
generation?
networking events as I possibly can. It's all about meeting people, and you don't know if that specific person may need your service, but they may know somebody who needs your services, right? So they're always gonna you always want to get your name out there and provide the services that you're offering right to them, and to get that knowledge out there and to have it spread hopefully like a wildfire is what networking is kind of all about. And creating those partnerships with everybody else to not only better you but better them. And if you can all network and operate in one specific with one specific goal in mind, then you're going to be successful.
Absolutely. These are really important insights. Thank you for sharing. So before we end our podcast, would you please share with our audience how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, of course. So again, Philip Mortell, EKC Strategic Business Alliance. You can go on my website, ekcsba.com. That's ekcsba.com. I'm open to email, meeting, virtual meet, in-person meet. I'm located. Our office is located outside of Philadelphia, but I'm back and forth to New York all the time. And yeah, feel free to reach out.
I appreciate it. Philip Mortell, thank you very much for joining our podcast in your busy schedule. As I mentioned earlier, our mission is to share insights and wisdom with the next generation. I'm sure we delivered it today. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Looking forward to the next one.
Yes, absolutely. Part 2 coming up. Thank you very much. And to our audience and to our listeners, thank you very much for listening and joining our podcast. We have more to come, and we'll be talking about the importance of apprenticeship programs in manufacturing. So we'll dive deeper into apprenticeship programs and grants available. And we are looking forward to seeing you at our coming podcast sessions. Please subscribe and like our YouTube channel and other channels that we have been going live. Thank you very much and have a nice day.